Good morning, everyone. Here we go. We're at Back to Basics lesson number 6, CPT journey number 2. It's Monday, so I'll remind you that if you want to continue learning using this website, if this is something that's really been very beneficial to you, if you could hit that PayPal donation button and use either PayPal, debit, credit, various ways you can donate to Ina and this website. She's done a lot of work on it, and I would not be able to do these lessons without her. And if we could support her in any way, that would be awesome. In order to find the lesson, you go to Write-Ups. Inside Write-Ups, we're going through the beginner's guide. We are doing this first one, and we are now in part 2. We're going to learn about auras and feathering, 2 different new techniques. I like what she says here, and I don't want to read the whole thing to you, but I like what she says here. Everyone's brain is different. Personal circumstances have placed emphasis on some parts of your brain. In some people, the right hemisphere of the brain is more developed than in others. That's why for some tanglers, following CPT comes really easy, and for others, it's much more difficult. The more you apply CPT, the more your creative side will grow. And she doesn't want to bore us with another grid journey, which she started back in 2016 when she started analyzing patterns. Although I must say, once we get through these 8 lessons of CPT journey, I do think I'm going to go through the grid journey because I don't think I ever actually explored the grid journey. But today we're going to explore shapes and how we can create our own patterns by using more techniques. These are some of the basic shapes that she mentioned. You know, we did do shapes before, and that was back on lesson number 2. In case you missed my lesson number 2, we have basic CPT shapes, which here's my page. I'm going to link to that. Let me turn my light on so you guys can see it. But basic CPT shapes: lines, round shapes, C shapes, other curved shapes, and brackets. Those are the basic shapes. And you'll see she's done them here. But the technique she wants us to learn is called an aura. An aura is created by adding a parallel line to any shape. It's a technique we use a lot. You'll hear me say that a lot when I am describing how we're drawing a pattern. I'll say, oh, well, we aura this. What that means is we're just going to draw a line around the shape. So here we go. Here's a circle, and then she's put an aura around the circle, either on the outside or the inside. Here she's got a teardrop shape. She's gone either in the inside or the outside. Here's an aura around a spiral. Okay. There's an outside aura or an inside aura. And to add a new twist, try drawing irregular auras by relocating the center. So like this one, she didn't make it even. She started with this circle and then she did it smaller here and auraing here, making it larger going outward this way. But it's still considered an aura. Okay, so that's the first technique. I'm just going to draw a couple of simple shapes, and I'm going to play with auras on them. What happened to my other pen? This one. Turn on my light. So just take your shape page from back in lesson number 2. If you don't have this and you want this reference page, I will try to remember to link Google Doc shapes. Making myself a note. Link Google Doc shapes. Okay. And just, you know, take your basic shapes and play with them. So let's make a few basic shapes on here. Let's make a teardroppy sort of a shape. Let's make it S, maybe with a spiral. Let's make some circular shapes. Let's make some, there we go. Let's do some teardroppy shapes that all connect in the middle. Thus, we make sort of a flower kind of a thing. Let's make just a random shape like that. And let's make some more angular shapes with lines. Like that. Okay, now I have some shapes to play with. You make whatever shapes you want. And we're just going to aura them. We're going to do some outside auras like that. You could absolutely change the shape. That's what I like about the outside auras. You can have fun with changing the shape of the aura. Doesn't mean that it's not an aura. It is definitely still an aura. But let's really play with. Let's have it come up this way. Still an aura. Okay, still an aura. How about this one? We're going to go all the way around like that. This one, we're going to do an inside one, maybe a couple of them, and an outside one as well. This one, let's do something that kind of end up triangular. Like that. This one, let's do a small aura on the inside. And then let's do a aura this way on the outside. Very easy, right? Like that, like this. Simple auras. More complex auras. You know, that's all there is to aura. Aura is very easy. Now, the second thing she's got on today's lesson is called feathering. And feathering can be added to any shape, and it's kind of like an aura, except you're connecting here and here. So rather than going around the outside of the shape, you're connecting and you're doing a portion of the shape, whether it connects way over here and it's kind of almost the whole thing, or whether it connects just a part. But you see how on a teardrop, feathering creates what looks like feathers. It's a classic quilter's technique. So like here's a spiral. Oop, can't see it. There's a spiral, and then she's done some feathering here. Here's an S, and she's done some feathering here. There's a heart shape, and she's done some feathering just on one side. So she wants us to practice using feathering on these shapes, and feathering can also be applied by varying the shape. The feathering doesn't have to be just a curve. It can be like this one is more of a comes up and then comes down. Comes up and comes down, more like a leaf. Okay, and begin feathering with straight lines, brackets, or even loops. Look at this way feathering comes out when you start with a loop. Here's a loop and then an aura. And look what that does. Just combining auras with other shapes can just give you just such a creative outlet. So let's try a couple of shapes. She's asked us to start with, I'm going to turn my, no, I'm going to get a fresh piece of paper so you don't see through the pen on the other side. And let's start with, she wants us to start with some C shapes, maybe a loop, maybe a loop that goes like this, and maybe a bracket. Okay, those are not my favorite shapes, but we're going to play with those. So let's start this one. We're going to come up and come down. And maybe I'll put a little circle there because I got a goofy thing happened. And there. There we go. Some feathering. I didn't leave very much room here, but I'm going to just do some simple feathering here. Just like that. Maybe put something up at the top here. Okay, with a loop. Let's do like that. Okay, how about on this one? Let's do it going two different ways. Let's go this direction, and we'll go this direction. Like that. Bracket. Let's see, which way do I want to go with this one? Kind of looks like wings. There we go. There's a bracket shape. Let's try feathering with a shape that's a non-standard shape. Let's do that loop again. But instead of doing a roundy shape, let's do, it's going to come up and do that. That's interesting. Let's do one on this side too, because I tend to only do them on the right because I'm right-handed. That makes an interesting shape. We'll add a little line weight there. Perhaps we'll fill this in. That was an interesting shape. I like that. Okay, let's maybe start with a spiral. And we're going to start with a do that shape. That made an interesting thing. Not sure what it is, but it made an interesting thing now, didn't it? So that's all you need to do is to add kind of like an aura, but the other way. And you could totally add let's see, what kind of shape should we start with? Let's start with a teardrop kind of shape. Let's do a bracket coming out like that. And then we're going to feather that. And then maybe make another bracket. Brackets aren't my favorite shape, you guys know that, so I'm really pushing my boundaries by using brackets in my CPT playing. Oh, that was fun. Look at how pretty that is. That's so pretty. I see a face. That's no longer pretty. But that's okay. That was weird. Anyway, this is just a play page. It's just thin printer paper. Want you to play with those things. You can combine feathering with auras. Let's see, where did she say? Combine feathering with auras. Let's do one more. Let's do a regular, just a plain, easy feathering. And we're going to put a thing here. And then we're going to aura it. So we're going to start, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to aura this entire shape. Like that. That makes it look different. And then she says, bleh, that was easy for me to say. And then she says, if you want to get started tangling using a template, she's given us a lighthouse template. So if you're hesitant on kind of going out on your own, branching out, she's given us a template that you could then fill in all these spaces with various patterns if you want, or you could play with techniques in here. And she even gives you a step-by-step on how to draw this right here. So you draw your straight, kind of a little bit angled, almost like it would be a triangle or a V if it met at the top, but it's only those two sides at an angle. And then a little bit of curve there on the top. There's a little bit of curve there. She does it step by step for you. Then you connect that curve to here and do another one there. And then come up and draw another one of those curves, right? And then a triangle at the top. Some curves there, a little door. You can draw that part if you want. A little bit more windows, whatever you want to do. So with this, she'd like to conclude the second session. The journey will continue next weekend. She did these, like I said, she did these back in 2018. And she did put out a different lesson every single week in our Facebook page and on the website. So we were following along back then, but I actually didn't do the journey at that time. So I'm doing it now. But it also, I really like this one. I like how that came out. And then you could totally shade that or color it in. I like this shape that I ended up with. Really find it quite fun. So let me just shade that a little bit. See what that will do. This is a very, very soft pencil I chose for shading. Wow, that had a lot of graphite on it. That was a little bit more than I want. So I'm just going to pick some of that up with my kneaded eraser. There we go. Isn't that fun? Okay, so lesson for this week is to practice your feathering and your auras. And you have a few days because this is Monday. The next lesson will be on Friday. So you have a few days to practice. Show me what you're doing. Go over to Draw Tangles with Dawn on Facebook. Post your drawings in there, your practices. Like I said, they don't have to be finished drawings. You're not making a completed thing. You're playing. Use a sketchbook. Use cheapo paper. Grab some paper out of the trash and draw on the back of an envelope if you have to, because you're just practicing. You're not making completed artworks. And then you could use these techniques that you're using, that you're learning in a completed artwork. Show those to me too. I mean, it doesn't have to be just your play page. If you made a completed artwork, absolutely 100% show it to me. I would like to see it. You guys have a great day. We are rushing headlong into the end of January. My goodness, how did that happen? Anyway, I will see you guys on the next video. The next video you will see will be a pattern on Wednesday, and then on Friday we'll be back with another Back to Basics lesson. And I will see you then. Bye-bye.